get on to 101 Women Health, going back to this junk that Mr. The male Dr. Ruth, the male Dr. Well, he is a male Dr. Phil, the male Cannon is now Dr. Nick Cannon, gynecology. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this. Okay, I think everybody remember this lady. If you don't, I'm gonna help to reintroduce you to her. Henrietta Lacks, or Lakes. Okay, beautiful lady. Journalist Rebecca Skloot, new book investigates how a poor black woman tobacco farmer had a groundbreaking impact on modern medicine. And I know I saw somewhere where attorney Ben Crump is helping her family to, they're suing. Okay, Henrietta Lacks cells were essential in developing the polio vaccine. We all know about polio, right? And were used in scientific landmarks such as cloning, gene mapping, and in vitro fertilization. Y'all all know about in vitro fertilization. Okay, so this black lady from the South is instrumental in that, and basically they took advantage of her. Okay, and I've heard people say, well, what have people of color done for, what kind of contributions have they done? Well, obviously right here you see a big galloon. How many people are getting in vitros? Yeah, okay, so it goes on to say something about those cells were called the HeLa cells. They divided into different batches and shared among scientists. In 1951, a scientist at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore created the first Immortal human cell line with a tissue sample taken from a young black woman with cervical cancer. The reason I brought this up, and I'm going to get out of here so I can get back to my other thing, is that all this stuff that Mr. Nick, Dr. Nick is saying, those come from women who have husbands or boyfriends who are unclean or have unclean Hebrew sausage, Hebrew National, Oscar Mayer Wiener, chorizo sausage, Dangalang is one of the older YouTubers. That's what that come from. Like there was another STD. I remember reading one of the doctors was saying on TV a while back, and she said even if a person were to use condoms, if the man has this on his skin cells, when the frictional rubbing, that falls into the women, and that's how that comes from. So it's basically coming from cheating spouses, cheating husbands, nasty boyfriends who not washing, cleaning themselves, and they spread it to the women. Let's get it real. Let's take it to there. Okay, one of them here, bacteria vaginitis. BV is a common vaginal condition. Again, if you got kids, get them out of here. Condition characterized by blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into all this. So it goes on here. This is from, this is from American Journal of Preventive Medicine. Association of bacteria vaginitis with chlamydia and gonorrhea among women in the U.S. Army. Okay, so let me get to this. Okay, so she's saying here, BV, I'm just going to call it that. BV is a common, vajayjay in women of reproductive age, which has been associated with chlamydia and among commercial sex workers and women attending sexually transmitted infection clinics. Pathogen-specific association between BV and other sexually transmitted infections among U.S. military women have not been investigated. So here they go on, and I want to say I kind of don't like the way it's leading, but this is the second time I saw this, so some of it must be true. So it goes on to say, in addition, an effect modification on the addictive scale, I don't think I'm saying that right. was found between BV and an African American raised for gonorrhea but not for chlamydia. Then it goes on to say, among U.S. Army women, BV is associated with an increased risk of subsequent chlamydia and gonorrhea infection. And then they said here, I saw the BV prevalence varies substantially between countries worldwide. In the U.S., BV is more frequently reported among African American women and Hispanic women than white women. That's interesting. New or multiple male sexual partners have been associated with BV. Lower age at first intercourse, past pregnancy, commercial sex work, and vaginal douching are also linked to BV. Okay, so let me get out of that. I wanted to say that because when these dudes or men or whoever is talking in this term, the way Mr. I'm gonna just call him Dr. Nick, Dr. Nick is talking, you need to know, get your stuff right, or get your bacteria vaginitis in males, because according to let's see, this doctor here, this is a black female doctor, medically reviewed by Alana Biggers, MD, written in 2019. Okay, we already know. Okay, BV is an infection, blah, blah, blah. Males cannot develop BV, but they can spread the infection. They don't get it, but they spread it. Kind of like the women that's getting the cervical cancer, the, I think it's a chlamydia, not chlamydia, the HPV. Okay, so here, I'm trying to get to where she actually says. Okay, so currently doctors are unclear exactly how the infection starts, but having, I'm gonna just say, getting jiggy with it, with multiple partners, or the regular use of douches that assess the healthy vajayjay flora may be responsible. Sex with both males and females can increase the risk of BV spread. And I saw somewhere, I don't know if it's going to say on this, that women can spread it, I guess, gay women to each other as well. BV is an infection that occurs, okay, we know. Okay, so here, but males can carry the bacteria that cause BV. The bacteria can accumulate on the, you know what, the males, you know, are in the urethra of males. This means that people carrying the bacteria can transmit to females by having sex with them. The closest condition to BV in males is urethritis. Don't give me, you guys, okay? This is where the urethra becomes inflamed. The urethra is a tube connecting to the bladder that helps to remove urine from the body. Both males and females have a urethra. Urethritis is a common condition that affects roughly 2.8 million males in the United States each year. Doctors are unclear what causes urethritis in about 45%. Okay, so hey, that's Mr. Nick. So when you and your dudes are talking about that was saying the age. I think I saw something about women 18 to 44. I thought it was so funny. Dr. Nick Cannon, he telling the women about all this, and this here mess here. This stuff here is coming from most likely the men giving it to the women. Hey, again, you know, you out multiplying, y'all doing whatever, and you spreading this and nobody's getting checked. Let's get back to baby daddy, baby mama, these men having all these kids. Okay, so I found one here. 76-year-old man, believed to be the head of the world's largest family, died in India's Morazan State, and this has been a while back too. Ziana Chaina, the head of a religious sect that practiced polygamy, died on Sunday, leaving behind 38 wives, 89 children, and 36 grandchildren. And I'm not calling these women prostitutes, I'm just keeping it real. What I don't like, and I guess because as a person that worked for child support, work at, have friends who are supervised and whatnot, took several social study classes, and one of my social study classes, we had a book where the woman said, and she was a non-black woman, she wrote in there that in the black society or in the black community, black parents or grandparents welcome or encourage, something about welcome or encourage their children to have kids out of wedlock, or it's not a big deal, while other cultures or other people, that's kind of shunned on. I'm thinking, what? I guess a lot has changed in 15 years that I took that course, because you got all these Kardashian girls. My sister-in-law called me a few weeks back when they had the NFL and the NBA draft, and she was like, girl, turn the TV, look at all these little young girls, they done already got babies, and these guys just getting their little thing. They haven't even got into the basketball, football. They done already created, making families. This girl, the one with the bug eye, I think her name is Siobhan Zillis. She's a master's. She's got PhD. She's not some chick in the hood, So I guess what I'm trying to say, between his women and Nick Cannon women, these are not little girls. This is not little 19, 17, 18-year-old girls, in the hood or in the barrio, uneducated, illiterate. These are older, mature women. You know what you're doing. You're not a baby, okay? So let's just put it like that. Next man with a whole bunch of kids. This is Mr. Stanley Ho. He died recently. I think he was like 90-something years old. He's a billionaire. The woman in the red is his wife, and this is his daughter. He left behind 17 kids. He had 17 kids. Let's see, 17 kids by 4 wives. Stanley Ho, the billionaire who built Chinese territory of Macau into the world's biggest gambling hub. So he was a gambler. The man was 98. 98-year-old tycoon fathered 16 kids. 16 recognized children with 4 women he considered wives. They said he considered them wives, so I don't know if that means he was married to them. The oldest is 57. I think she's 60 now. Pansy Ho, she's running everything. So here, what they did, and I kind of like the way he did. I guess he must have had this stuff in writing. So some of the kids went off to join the business, and some of them didn't. So they probably gave them their little piece of money or whatever and say, hey, here's your money. Go ahead and do what you got to do, or what, but you're not getting any more. But hey, if I was one of them, I'll be fine. Daddy, give me, 50 million. I don't know, 50 million. I'll be just fine. Okay, so let's get on to what. I didn't know this was common in Japanese culture or for billionaires. Here's another one. I'm not going to talk about these people's looks. I want to so bad, but I won't, you guys. They not a Nick Cannon or Cam Newton or Tristan, but they got way more money than those 3 dudes put together. Okay. So this man here is Joseph Lau. I think he was in the real estate business. So I'm trying to get to where they're talking about these men with all these kids, and how in the Japanese or maybe just Chinese society, it's okay. As long as you're a billionaire, you can do what you want. How Hong Kong's property tycoons risk fortunes with marriage and mistresses. And that the people in Hong Kong is Japan, they like it. They love it. They love the gossip. They love knowing who is who doing who, or who's with who, or who's in who bed. Okay. So let's get on here. So here they saying property tycoon Joseph Lau demonstrates long-term partners legal step. Okay, so his girlfriend is a former Miss Hong Kong contestant and chemistry doctorate. They separated 2 years, so she's smart. Again, like I said, these are not no little illiterate, dumb chicks from the hood or the barrio. Not that I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that I can expect someone who has not traveled the world, who's not educated, who did not have the best of everything. But I guess my little mind, I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of back to what the man said from the radio station, that hey, there's some women that will act or do what you want to do if you wave, that dollar sign. Some, will dance for, Popeye's dinner, some Martin dinner, some, you gotta give them a couple of Chanel bags. But, I'm kind of shocked. I'm just saying. So then they go on to say, Yvonne Liu continues to live with Lau, Hong Kong's fourth richest man, and their 2 infant children. This man I'm looking at look like he's about 70 years old. Lau is also setting up the record straight legally. He has reportedly had a 10-year relationship with another companion whom he has now decided to wed. He and Chow Ho Wayne, a former entertainment reporter, had posted a notice declaring that they intend to get married. Are you kidding me? Wow, these men don't play. The move comes at a time of media speculation that ex-girlfriend Liu, L-U-I, was preparing to take Lau to court in a battle for at least some of his $12.8 billion in assets. Okay, he's ranked 65 among the richest people on the planet. Saying that common law, there's no legal definition of common law wife in Britain or in Hong Kong, which imported British law, that you were legally married after living together for 10 years. And I had heard that if you've been together for 10 years, you are considered legally married. Okay, so here they're saying without a marriage, there will be no divorce when they each decide to terminate the relationship. This is the lawyer. Then he says the who is getting the house or what else question don't arise in the terminations of such a relationship. Tycoons are fond of such an arrangement, which puts them in the power seat when negotiating with a non-married companions. It's common in China to have mistresses or even a secret family, but the tycoon is on a little obligation to them. So you're not getting no benefits. You're not getting anything, especially if this man was to die. They also have the upper hand of terms of wealth, and they can sue a would-be spouse into submission if he or she were to lawyer up. Okay, so then the man goes on to say, that is a far cry for in Australia or Canada, where de facto or common law companions have extensive rights. So girls, if you want to play, you want to be a hoochie mama, you need to go to Australia or Canada. So he says, in Australia, you can go out with a girl and she can have a toothbrush over at your place. And if she was to say de facto and get half of any excess, Todd Pellet, Australian manager who helps run the Hong Kong base, he said there's no de facto basis here. That's pretty good if you're in Australia or Canada. The exception would arise if a couple bought an asset such as a home together. If your name is on the title alongside your long-term companion, you own half share. That applies whether or not you actually contributed anything towards the purchase. Had so many kids, men in Africa that have a lot. I guess that's where Nick Cannon and some of these guys feel like they getting this from. This is a dude in Zimbabwe, and I saw some in Ghana and Angola. It's like a whole bunch. I thought the sheiks and the kings in Saudi Arabia had a lot of kids. Okay, so here it says, and I don't know, I can't tell if these people are Muslims. I don't know. I see they all in white. So it says, boy, that's all I see is a whole bunch of kids, all kind of like what Nick Cannon had. They're all little stair steppers, little crumb snatchers, all the same height. Okay, so this little old man here, his name is Mishak Nyandoro. He's 66, at least he was 66 and 21. So he says, Zimbabwe father, 66, with 16 wives and 151 children, has a strict 4 times a night sex schedule to keep his family going. And he does not work and claims his job is satisfying his wives. Said he has to marry younger women because his older brides have a low libido. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much about him. So again, he has 151 kids. He will marry his 17th bride in the winter and hopes to have 100 wives and 1,000 children before he dies. Okay, so then they're going to talk about, he says, he claims to lead a luxury and says he is showered with gifts and money by his many offspring. So he doesn't work. They do have farming land. He goes on to say he has designed his schedule to at least satisfy 4 wives per night. 66? Satisfying what kind of African voodoo he got going on? I'm like, golly. So he says, he told the local news outlet the Herald, I go to the bedrooms that I have on my schedule. Then I satisfy my wife and I move on to the next room. This is my job. I have no other job. You don't have no other job. He added, I alter my behavior in the bedroom to suit the age of my wives. Okay. I don't act the same with the young ones as I do with the older ones. Okay, Nick, you're going to learn some things. The 66-year-old became a polygamist in 1983, and he said he does not plan to stop the project. Reproduce until he dies. He added all of his brides are extremely happy with their lives and at least 2 are pregnant. I'm still trying to figure out what do they do for income? How do they feed all these kids? Okay, so he says here he has 50 offspring that are in school. 6 work for the Zimbabwe National Army. 2 are police, 11 others are employed in different positions, and 13 daughters he has married off. He keeps saying his children spoil him. The family relies mainly on farming and recently been allocated 93 hectare, I don't know what that is, of land near the mountains. Okay, I'm not mad at you, homie. I'm not mad. I will post some more of these. Here's a man. I think he's from Nigeria. He's married. Or no, he recently died. Okay, he recently died. They buried him in a car. Man, 53. Man who married 59 wives. I'm sorry, and had 300 children. Buried with a car. in Uga. I don't know where that is. It's somewhere in Nigeria. But this old man, I believe they said he's a herbalist or witch doctor or shaman or something. So he was Chief Simon Odu, ODO, also known as son of Satan. Who want to be son of Satan? Has died at the age of 74. He had been married 59 wives, 300 children. He's got grandkids. They didn't say how old the grandkids. He was interred. They buried him in a flashy car. I mean, how do these men know these kids are theirs? Are they performing DNA tests? Are they going by what the kids look like? Is there a birthmark? How do you know that your homegirl, your baby mama, your wifey, that she's not dating maybe one of your sons or the next door neighbor? I mean, I don't know. So they go on to say Udo was a native doctor from Aji in the Ibu state. Prior to his death, warned that his remains should not be taken to a mortuary. To Japanese, or I don't know if it's Chinese culture. Again, like I said, I'm shocked because I didn't know all this was going on. Okay, so here they say mention male polygamy was outlawed in the government in 1971, but the phenomenon of having a mistress, Bao Yi Na, which has a long history, is not uncommon even now. Note, the practice never applied to women who wanted more than one spouse. Okay, taking tycoons and other wealthy people out of the equation, infidelity, even among the whole pola, is not frowned upon as you might expect. In fact, having a mistress is seen as a status symbol. A man has truly made it if he can have more than one woman. Okay, that's in wow, I didn't know that. I'm shocked. Perhaps this takes us back to where we started. In Hong Kong, the measure of success is always material. How much money have you made? How many properties do you own? How many women can you keep in them? It's almost as if having enormous wealth expunges all sins. Witness also how easily Hong Kongers forgive financial wrongdoing. But why does the multiple partner situation only apply to men? If a man is successful because he is able to have more than one wife, then surely the same should apply to women too. One never hears about wealthy Hong Kong women who openly date more than one man. Wow. I'm not saying this will represent progress for society, but surely our generation can aspire to more for men than having their pick of multiple wives and girlfriends. And for women, being part of some tycoon's harem, it's time to end the unhealthy idea of polygamy going in hand for affluence as a signifier for success. And this one is from, let's see, still talking about Stanley Ho. Asia Times, the real reasons behind Hong Kong's love of polygamous tycoons. This is that little old man, Stanley Ho. And I'm not being messy, living by his name. So again, you guys, if you have some comments, leave it for me. Tell me what you think about Dr. Nick Cannon. Tell me what you think about Mr. Stanley Ho, Mr. J. Paul Getty leaving 12 women in his will, and they got like 800,000 in the 70s. Today, that must equal to at least $2 million. I'll do the calculation. That must equal to like $2 million today. And should we judge? Yeah, we should judge. Yeah, we should. Should women have more than one man like they do in Tibet? The women have more than one husband? I don't know. But hey, at the end of the day, we were on a three-way all talking, me, my sister, one of my sister-in-laws. Where is Nick Cannon going to spend Christmas at 12 midnight? Thanksgiving, 12 midnight. I remember when we will all go to Louisiana. We'll be at my grandma's house or great grandma's house. We were all together. Dad, my mom's brothers with their kids. 12 midnight, we will all open up our presents. My little cousins having fun. My dad was right there. So I'm just, that's what I question. These dudes with these multiple families thinking, hey, it's okay, you know, as long as I got the money. Nick is not a billionaire. Tristan Thompson's not a billionaire. Cam Newton's not a billionaire. Some of these other people with these multiple babies. That money can go like that. So where y'all gonna be? Where those kids gonna be? Where you gonna be Christmas, 12 midnight? You can't make it, dude, to all them houses on Christmas. You know, you can't. So hey, leave me those comments. Thank you for joining me at Maria Loves to Talk. Stay healthy, happy, and blessed.